That one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis.
You're in tune to Roots FM 96.1 on the FM band, and it's now time for Mek Wi Talk. Tuesdays are 1 hour talk show with Jeffery Tavares.
Thank you. Good morning, wherever you're listening and watching from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean. This is Roots 96.1 FM, Mek Wi Talk. Believe you me, it's going to be a very beautiful discussion this morning because we have so many things to talk about. I see wearing the I don't know if Owen is in studio with me this morning because he promised he'll be in studio. I see where the former security ministers, Derek Smith and Katie Knight, is calling for the Minister of National Security to do not have the final say within the FLA when it comes on to guns permit. There are so many things going on in Jamaica. See where former Minister of Transportation, former Minister of National Security, Robert Bobby Montague is also the Member of Parliament. I think it's for Western St. Mary. He has resigned as portfolio minister in the Minister of Housing. He has resigned from his post also. There are so many, and I see where in the Parliament is meeting this morning pertaining to the Gun Act. What is going on? The opposition leader is supposed to be giving his presentation today at 2 o'clock in the Parliament, his budget debate presentation. He's going to give that this morning in the House of Parliament. Yesterday, I got a phone call about an accident on Mandela Highway with I think it's a bus, and maybe the conductor fell out of the bus. We don't know as yet. I didn't get more details on it. So many things is happening in our little country, Jamaica. And then we go overseas, where the Ukrainian president was just addressing the Canadian Parliament. Maybe we should have a little play of it, and I think I'm going to have a little play of it where he was discussing, where he's asking again for NATO to give some more airplanes to also put a no-fly zone over Ukraine from the Russians. Good morning, Sir Brown. He's in Studio B with us. Good morning, Owen.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Sir Jeffery.
How are you doing this morning?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good so far. Giving thanks.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I also
so many
see
things happening in it.
Yes, I also see where former finance minister and attorney at law Hugh Small is calling for Jamaica to do away with the Privy Council. He even went live on a prominent newspaper in Jamaica with a video where he is burning his
wig.
His wig.
Yeah.
What is your views on that, Obi?
It was an interesting video. When I saw it, I was like, "Wow, this is a very strong move," and it makes a very strong statement, saying that guess what, to some extent he wants a change, of whether it's the judicial system or style of government or governance. So let us see if it is with this big move, if there will be any faster speed or forward movement towards us being whatever it's with a republic, or us also moving away from the Privy Council. So it's a big, as I said before, a strong move, and a big one. And is it that you're playing part of it?
No. Go ahead. No,
Right.
I was trying to find it, but I can't find it.
Okay. But for me, I was saying I would say it's a very strong move. And let us see if from this action, if there'll be any move of, as I said before, towards us doing anything towards that. I know that the government created a new portfolio, right? A ministry with the Constitution and Legal Affairs, right? And I think that this new ministry should be able to look on our governance, our government, and also how it is that we can reconstruct, amend, or adjust as best as possible our constitution and also our laws to better suit us. Would love to get a reaction from that ministry, regarding this move, or even the Ministry of Justice, to say, well, all right, if it is that there are persons who are calling for a change or some action towards, the legal system, what is it that can be done right now, or say in the near future, in ensuring that these persons who are speaking out, or this is just one that we see so far, but probably there are others, of their view to say, well, there needs to be a change in how the judicial system is and works in Jamaica.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Owen, I'm trying to figure out if Jamaicans really want to go away from the Privy Council, or just politicians asking to go away from the Privy Council.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. It's as I said before, it's a sticky one. I know, in recent times, or it was sometime last year, I saw the report where, Cartel was kind of saying, guess what, his appeal is in the hand of the Queen.
Yeah.
and he's blessing up the Queen, and he's praying that, the Queen will have, as to some extent, mercy on him and release him. So some persons still do hold the belief that it's a better way of, or better final court for but then again, there are others would say, well, why not just use RCCJ? Why not use another kind of system?
But look at it this way, Owen. Barbados has drifted away from the Queen. Barbados is not a republic, and they still use the Privy Council.
Well, for me, I think it's then for the legal minds to tell us which other courts do they think is best suited for our final appellate court, as they call it, and then for them to say, well, they believe that the CCJ would do a better job, or the Privy Council. I think they should have that conversation, and if it is that they should come up with some consensus or some survey or some what they call it now, something referendum, right? Go ahead and move forward with that in making their voice be heard, because we as a layman, saying whether it is or not, it's definitely not up to us. It's then up to them who are there in the field to say, well, they think that it's a better way to go with the Privy Council or not. Because for us, whether it's Privy Council or not, we know a lot of things going on and some ruling that going on that should not go on.
Because look at the traffic Euro saga. You and I was talking about it, and you said, does it make any sense for them to go and waste the court's time and nobody's been charged, nobody go to prison for anything?
That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So with the court system now, because of so many cases, and cases have to be sent back to, you know that some cases, they have to have trial dates of up to 2025 now, right? We're in 2020. Right, so based on the
trial dates up to when? 2020 who?
5. Yeah, and some 2026. because of the
So
amount.
hold on there. So you're saying to me that anybody who is locked up and have a court hearing, they have to stay in there until certain time before it can be heard?
Just like
But
the
isn't that
case
against the
regarding-
constitutional right?
No, the thing is, it's then based on the availability, and it depends on when the court is free, because there are other cases that are still not solved, still ongoing, still before the court. Some new cases are coming on every time, so it will extend the time or the availability of a court,
Yes.
for another matter. So with that delay and with so much things going on in our country, where our court system is to some extent, feeling the brunt, because every time we have new cases, and when it comes down to the turnover rate and solving other cases, a lot of them they're not being dealt with, speedily in order for new cases to be there. So, I think the Justice Ministry, they have a task on their hand. I'm sure that they'll have some level of conversation regarding even what's going on now in our court system, to give us an update on exactly the status. But I know the last time I heard him speaking, he's saying that there are cases that have to go, like have trial dates up to 5 years from now, right? And 4 years from now, because of what's going on with the level or the number of cases. And I think that's the reason why even recently he said that they're pushing even more right now for certain case, for them to do mediation instead of going before a court. So they're pushing more for, if it is that they have a certain kind of matter and it can be dealt with via mediation, they're pushing more that kind of resolution instead of wasting the court time, because some things in the court should not be in the court, and that's the thing, it's just taking up time. And they're saying if it is that they can use mediation to minimize the number of cases that are coming in, at least that we can try and work on some of the backlog. But as I said, the court system, it's really not an easy one. And to be waiting years and years for your case to be called. And then once it's called, there's also another length of time when it come on to the trials and who not turning up and them have to call it off and extending, and so it's a system where for us here, it needs help. So that's the reason why I'm saying, with having the Privy Council as the final, the lawyers, the persons who are in the legal field, I think they should make their voice, a lot more of them, should let their voice be heard. We've seen one in the video, but we need to know exactly
Owen,
where they are.
sorry to break in. I see we're in the joint sitting committee of parliament is having something with the Firearm Act.
Yes.
And I see where Senator Peter Bunting is speaking. Do you want us to take it?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, hold a minute for me. Okay, I see something here. We are going to take the live feed of what is going on in the House of Parliament, wherein Mr. Peter Bunting is speaking.
All right, so you're trying to get the feed now?
Yes, I get it.
Go ahead.
That is essentially what I would try to say. That once there's a level of a threshold that the minister has the ability based on the regulation, just like what we see here, where once it's below a certain threshold, then it wouldn't be considered as a firearm. I suspect that maybe some of the BB guns that you speak of as well are firearms that propel a projectile.
Okay, we're going to break away from that, Owen, because he was just speaking. Apparently, we lost the what he was saying. But you have anything to say, sir? I see you looking at, maybe you have a breaking news or something.
No, I was just listening, but I know that it was kind of choppy. I wasn't hearing very clear. Yeah, but I was, and as you were talking about the firearms, at the meeting there, I was looking for, I was actually going through sections of the Firearms Act, and because for persons who are here, probably listening and hearing a lot about what's going on with the FLA, the former minister rather, Peter Bunting, both former ministers, Bunting and also Montague, they are calling for a review of the act to some extent, eliminate their or the minister's discretion in whether overturning an application or approving an application that was turned down by the review board, right? So they're saying that they want the act, or in reviewing the act, to actually take out the minister's discretion in making any amendment to any ruling. What I was looking on is what it is that the review board would do, and what are some of the things within the law. And I saw here in section 37 of the act regarding an approval or permit, they are saying that subject to the section 37A, and an aggrieved party may within the prescribed time and in the prescribed manner apply to the review board for the review of a decision of the authority. And the decision would be probably refusing to grant the application, also amending or refusing to amend any license certificate, revoking or refusing to revoke any license certificate or permit, or refusing to grant any exemption pursuant to subsection. So this is what's stipulated in the law. So if it is that somebody applied to the FLA and it is that they were denied, right? They are, as it says here, you're prescribed to submit an application to them according to the subsection here regarding the decision, right? They also gave a time. All right, so that says, whereas the aggrieved party or the person who never got the license applies for the review of a decision of the authority pursuant to paragraph D of the subsection, the firearms ammunition in relation to which the review is sought may be retained by the holder of a license certificate or permit in respect thereof until such time as the review has been determined. Every person who pursuant to subsection 1 applies for the review of a decision of the authority shall at the time of making the application pay the prescribed fee. So they're saying here, essentially, that if it is that you're aggrieved, go ahead. You can make an application. We've seen report, or I saw the report, where somebody said that they applied, but they were denied, and they also submitted to the FLA, whatever it is. After the refusal, they submitted a review, or they submitted the application to say, well, please review why it is that they were denied. And the person was saying that they never got any response from that. And the person was acting based on what the law here says. That if it is that you don't get it, you should apply to them, all right, saying that, guess what? Because as it says here, the aggrieved person, asking them what is the reason, or also to review why it is that you were not granted the permit.
So in other words, Owen?
Yes. I'm listening.
Okay. Are you hearing me? Because I think I lost you there.
I'm hearing you.
Okay.
I'm hearing you.
In other words, you're saying that a part of the Firearm Act give the individual a leeway to go and apply all over again.
Yeah, a review, right?
A review. Okay. Is there any part in there that stated that, I know that the minister have the final say, or is it the board that has the final say?
Well, it's the minister, and that's what they were saying about it, that the minister should not have the final say, because even if the board rules a certain way, the minister can say, yeah, the person needs to get it, and that's what they're saying at times happen, where the minister would approve a firearm that was to some extent denied from the board.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why they're calling for that part of it to actually be taken out. So here is a part of the act also talking about the revocation, and it says, I'm trying to go to the part where it speaks specifically to perhaps the minister, right? But this one is talking about the reason for a revocation, or some of the reasons why they would revoke their certificate. Subject to Section 37, the authority may revoke any license, certificate, or permit if 1. The authority is satisfied that the holder thereof is of intemperate behavior, or of unsound mind, or is otherwise unfit to be entrusted with such a firearm and ammunition, as may be mentioned in the license certificate. So the holder thereof.
Hold on there, Owen. Remember what I say about that part. You hold a minute there. The former Minister of National Security, the on the other side, the gentleman, the senator from Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
It is said in the Integrity Commission, it is said that an individual was accused of molesting somebody. What he said in a radio show yesterday, that it was not reported to the police and no charge was laid. Mm-hmm. And that is why he decided to give the individual the license.
Right.
But based on what you read a while ago, read it over again for me, please.
Right, because it says the authority is satisfied that the holder thereof is intemperate, as is thereof is of intemperate behavior, or of unsound mind, or is otherwise unfit to be entrusted with such a firearm or ammunition, as may be mentioned in the license certificate. And they're also saying, go ahead.
So if the board deny the individual who the said is allegedly,
probably based on the behavior.
There you go. So why did the minister override what the board said and gave the individual the former minister on the other side? Is where I'm coming with it?
And that's the thing, persons are saying with that act, and a matter of fact, I heard, even Mr. Bunting was saying that, he would be grateful, or would have been grateful, if the discretion that he has, or the ability to go ahead and approve despite the board. He's saying if that was not there, then he's saying that his job would be much easier. And it sounds as if there are other persons who are to some extent pressuring him to make sure that they probably get the license approved or something like that. Because he's saying his job would be much easier if it is that, he never had the option or the choice or the chance or the opportunity to some extent, rule against what the review board said about a particular person. So it is kind of sticky, It's kind of a sticky situation, because you're saying in his mind, he's saying that the person is okay, but in the board's mind, they're saying he may not be fit. And I think it's a dangerous position to be at.
Right, because yes, right, because he he went and said also that when he do his check, there was nothing reported to any police station. So that is one of the reasons why he decides, okay, he's gonna give the firearm to the individual. But what I am saying is this. Oh Jesus, hold on there for me. Hold on. What I'm saying is this. Sorry about that. What I'm saying is this.
Yeah.
If there wasn't any I lost my train of thoughts there. If there wasn't any report, don't you think you as a Minister of National Security should investigate it some more to find out why was XQYZ? Some allegations that the person did XQYZ. So why didn't you as a minister went and investigate it? But what you did before you didn't investigate it at all. Based on what everything else, you decided to grant the individual a permit.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, because as I said, because the Firearms License Authority, based on the Firearms Act, he was able to do it because to some extent the law gave them the leeway. And I think that's the, you know, where the law has given them to some extent the leeway to do so. And that's the major problem that we're seeing here, because it says here that subject to, they're saying every license, certificate, or permit shall be subject to the prescribed condition as to such other conditions as to the authority that may impose that what? One, they're saying in respect of the grant of which the minister is the authority, or in respect of the grant of which the prior approval of the minister is required by this act, shall be subject to such condition as the minister in his absolute discretion may specify or direct to the specified therein or to the authority. So it gives him, right, in his absolute discretion. So it gives him discretion to based on what's said or done. And this is, I'm reading from the Firearms Act, you know. This is what's actually on paper to say, well, it would be to some extent subject to his discretion.
It's now 11:30.
Yeah, man.
We're going to take a quick commercial break from Mek Wi Talk. We're speaking about the Firearm Act and so many other things. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back here on Mek Wi Talk.
That one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
Hi, I'm Marcia.
I'm Adrian. Join us this and every Wednesday morning for Extraordinary Abilities on Roots 96.1 FM. Join us for news, views, and interviews with extraordinary people Extraordinary Abilities every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your extraordinary radio station, Roots 96.1 FM. It's gonna be fun, informative, and educational, but most of all, it will be extraordinary.
Calling all students, the Jamaica Constabulary Force Community Safety and Security Branch Safe Schools Unit presents its 7th National Safe Schools Virtual Peace Day Concert, streaming live from the JCS Band Division on Tuesday, March 1, 10 a.m. to 12 midday, under the theme, Let's Build Peace Together, featuring performances from students and police officers, peace messages from key stakeholders, special guest performer, traction out of St. Thomas. Let's build peace together.
Me I pray that you hear, Lord. So for everyone we need you, please, my dear Lord.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
Do you want to talk about what's happening in your community or share your thoughts on national issues? Then tune in to Mek Wi Talk Tuesdays with yours truly, Jeffery Tavares. This and every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Join the conversation by calling 876-372-8446 or 876-225-9478 on YouTube at Roots FM Jamaica and Facebook at Roots FM JA. That's Mek Wi Talk this and every Tuesday on Roots 96.1 FM, the voice of the inner city.
It's been a long.
Welcome back to Mek Wi Talk here on Roots 96.1 FM. We were speaking about the whole issue with the gun act in Jamaica and what can be done, because if the minister have the final say, you have a board of directors, and if the minister have the final say in it, I mean, what can be really done? Is it that we have to change the law where the minister does not have the final say? Because two former minister of national security, Peter Bunting and KD Knight, is saying that the minister, they want the law to change where the minister doesn't have the final say. But a former minister of national security on the Labour Party side, Derek Smith, is not with that at all. He's saying that, the minister should have the final say. There are so many things that, happen where you have people getting license for firearm in this country. And when they get the license, all sort of bangarang happen. Where they said, some people not supposed to get license at all. But yet they get license. I see a former minister of national security did an honorable thing and he resigned until the outcome of what is going on. But the other former minister the good gentleman decided that he's not going to resign at all. Where the leader of the People's National Party is saying that he's not telling him to resign. Because apparently in this my views now. The leader of the opposition is saying, I don't see anything wrong. Because the Integrity Commission has giving their ruling on what is going on with the FLA. But you realize that the minister, the current minister of national security, who is the deputy prime minister, and also the minister of defense and prime minister of this country, hasn't said anything pertaining to the whole saga that's going on at the FLA. Until now, they haven't addressed the people of Jamaica of what is going on. And I'm trying to figure out something here. Are they the chief servant of the people of this country, or they are not the chief servant of the people of this country? Are we are the one who is serving them? Because of what is really going on. We in this country, the only time we have any say towards anything that is going on within government in Jamaica is when the election time come around. And that ought not to be. That should never be. The people of Jamaica must have a say. And so many boards and organizations is calling on the goodly gentleman from the other side to resign. But he doesn't see it fit to resign. And his party leader doesn't see it fit to resign either. I see we're in a couple of people from the People's National Party yesterday went over to the head office of the People's National Party on Old Hope Road, calling from the good gentleman to resign. As a matter of fact, they're calling for the leader to resign too. You know? They're calling for the leader to resign too. So we must figure out something in Jamaica here. We cannot continue like this as a people and as a nation. I see wherein I have my guest is on now. Mr. Marcel Clark from St. Thomas. Unmute your mic for me, sir. We're
Yes,
gonna welcome to Mek Wi Talk. We're gonna speak to what is going on in the goodly parish of St. Thomas, where a rebellion was led. Is it that we're going to lead a rebellion again in this country?
The signs are on the wall. The writing is on the wall. But I pray that it's not a physical rebellion, but a more of a spiritual rebellion. Because too many lives were lost in 1865. But I can tell you, things are shaping up where persons are getting to a point where they are agitated to exercise themselves in such manner. I have to be engaged in groups trying to soften the tone and to sort of address their issues. One thing I know you're concerned about is the nation called Jamaica in terms of our crime situation. You're concerned about what is happening to us here in St. Thomas in terms of crime also and the road conditions. Yes, the government has embarked on a massive road construction program, but the citizens of St. Thomas welcome it because far too long we have not had good roads in the entire network of the parish. So yes, we welcome it. But the pace that the work is taking, the manner in how they go about the work, there's a lack of safety. There is no regard for the dust nuisance. on how it's having adverse effects on residents and business people. The surface is as if might as well we kept what we had, because at least we had a little blacktop to drive on. No, we have whatever blacktop is left. Persons are fighting who can commandeer this section of the blacktop and not go into.
Sir Clark, the question I have to ask you. We had the councillor on, I think it was a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And they promised me faithfully to come back on, and until I have heard anything from them. But the question is this. Who is in charge of the work program, the work program in St. Thomas? Is it the China Harbour Company, or is it a company owned by a politician?
All right. The entire road network contract is China Harbour, but it was sub to couple other companies. One of them on the eastern side, they might be to Prospect, is a company named Kinetic. There is a piece from the roundabout in Morant Bay to, I think, Seaford, somewhere there, I think is S&G. And another section go all the way up to, I think, Trinity-ville, I think Cedar Valley too, is Alcar. And then, no, sorry, I think Smith is the one from the roundabout to Seaford. And then there's a piece from the roundabout going back to Yallas to meet up with China Harbour piece is S&G. But then I see another company, I see moving around on the road named, I think, Black Right. I don't know how they fit into it. And then there's some contractors that deal with the pipes. And that is one of my main point of contention or concern, is the pipes. They are laying the pipes in the middle of the road, two sides of the road. A smaller pipe on one side and a much bigger pipe on the other side. And the pace that they're laying these pipes, and there's this long period of testing, and the surface is of such, and it causes accidents because person don't want to get into that uneven surface that has some ditches and large stones, sharp stones, that kind of stuff, potholes, etc. So it is, persons are fighting for the little blacktop. So a lot of mirrors are being hit off, a lot of head-on collision are rubbing, persons' cars running into trucks, that kind of stuff. So the trucks don't give up space. And so the poor little carman, he have to go mash up in front end. I personally put on 4 shocks on one of our cars. And in less than 3 months, the shocks and the springs are gone.
My God.
Front end work is needed. The front end work at the same time, it's needed again. And don't even mention the taxi man them. Now, a group of taxi men had a meeting with the mayor, concerns about the road, and there's a bus park on the eastern side.
Before you touch there, before you remember what you're going to say, before you touch there, I want listeners to know and viewers to know that I reach out to the mayor of St. Thomas to come on my program. And until now, the mayor hasn't responded. It's same way I reach out to the member of parliament for Central Kingston. And he hasn't responded either. And these people believe that we serve them. They forget that they are the servant of the people of this country. And they must remember that.
Yes.
Before you continue, I have a little breaking news here out of Barbados. During her 2022 budget speech on Monday afternoon, Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, announced that effective midnight Wednesday, March 16, Barbadians will be paying $3.99 per litre for gas, a reduction of 14%. Would we ever see that in Jamaica?
Good question. It will be a welcome an adjustment to prices because trust me, the prices are skyrocketing. I think last week was $4 and change was increased. The price of fuel increased by in Jamaica just last week. Don't know what tomorrow will bring. But as I was saying,
go ahead, man. Go ahead about the roads and so forth.
They were had some concerns about the road and this bus part that the parish council took over a road, a driving road, two-way traffic road, and turned it into a bus park with little or no shelter, with a gully behind it. I think it's only one bathroom that is open at the behest of the parking attendant, which sometimes is not there. And when
so
rain,
who pays she now?
Parish council. And
so she's getting, hold on a man, hold on a minute now. She's getting paid from the taxpayers of this country. And she open for her bathroom when she feel like open the bathroom.
That's what I'm getting as a complaint.
Oh.
That's the complaint I'm getting. And as I said, it's a road. So sometimes heavy duty trucks have to traverse through it, either direction. Luckily, we don't have sugar production in the parish anymore. But usually when the cane trucks are coming from an area called Stanton, there's a hard left turn that the trucks can't make. So they have to drive through that road, go down to the wharf road, and then turn and proceed to the factory. And if a truck is going to that place, coming from Kingston, have to go to Stanton, they would have to, they normally have to go up to the end of the Marant Villas Hotel and make a hard left turn also, which is impossible for a truck, especially lower because it's on a little incline. So they usually go through that road. So when that situation arises, they have to go to the bus park, which is unsafe for persons milling around, and then you have taxis and buses parked on both sides. It's just not conducive for.
So what you're saying to me, Mr. Clark, is that the parish council in St. Thomas, in Morant Bay, take a roadway and turn it into a bus park?
Yes, sir.
Then isn't that an illegal act?
I think so. They're now saying that it is gazetted, but I can't see how it was ever gazetted. I can't see how a governing body that's supposed to sanction building and whatever constructions or road use that has a say, a body, a government body, went ahead and did that. I just don't understand it. And that road is an essential road because at one point in front of the Mark Villas to the sea, that road was there was some slippage, land slippage, and they wanted to close that road to do the construction and then move the traffic through there. And because the bus park was there, it was impossible. And it caused some real discomfort to the parish movements when the construction occurred. So at times they had to lock it down and filter the traffic through there, which is a bus park. So it's unsafe. It's not an appropriate site. There is a property in front of that roadway. I think the government should approach the owners and try to either lease it or purchase it. And
let me ask you a question now. You hold on a minute. Let me say this to you now. Then if you don't have two members of parliament, you see, one of them believe that him is a Dan. And the other one, she believe nobody can talk to her because it's her father run things. And she running things too. You don't expect them now go to anybody and ask them for no land for the dirty foot choices and dirty skirt choices to dirty skirt women in St. Thomas?
Well, I think
when are we, Mr. Clark, hold on a minute, man. We don't have enough time here. But when are we going to wake up in this country and say to the powers maybe, enough is enough. We need constitutional reform in this country.
Yes.
They're talking about going republic.
We must fix our issues before we move forward in such a direction. It don't make sense going to a republic with the same old issues plaguing us. And the truth is, Jeffrey, um, based on the nonchalant approach of our political representatives in regards to issues in the parish or even across Jamaica, it is breathing a point of a boiling point where this thing may get explosive.
In other words, they're putting the Jamaican people back against the wall.
Yes, sir. And the truth is, the taximen are suffering. So if they normally did 20 trips per day, either direction, they may be doing 5 now. And then with the increase in gas price and the gas tax and the replacement of spare parts, insurance, and then not to mention the examiner come out on the road and we don't have no road in St. Thomas.
So when him come up on the road, we do?
Not check vehicle.
What them nonsense going on in the country?
Extra slap in the face. I'm not saying they shouldn't do their job. Don't get me wrong. But as some discretion should be exercised. Jeffrey, I would want to invite you to drive from Kingston to even just Port Morant. And if not, tell us to go further than. And I guarantee you will be exhausted. You might even throw up or even pee on yourself because it is so uncomfortable. Your vehicle better have AC.
Because let me tell you something, you know. The member of parliament, our him name again, Robinson. And the other one, where she name again, Charles.
Yeah.
If they not drive Range Rover and Prado. That's what them driving, Range Rover and Prado. And so them not pay for gas. The taxpayers of this country pay for gas. When for them front end lick out, they can go on the Range Rover deal and they can go down a Toyota Jamaica. And the taxpayers of this country pay for it to be fixed and service. So that is why they treat us as if we're nothing. But when election time come around, they treat us up like, hello, where was it that bloody idiots in this country, you know?
The truth is, Jeffrey, the business community is even feeling it right now in St. Thomas. And they took on so much work one time. Yes, we appreciate the development, but I think they should have taken it on incrementally. Fix one section, move on to the next. You know, at least we'd have some decency.
But what I don't understand, Mr. Clark, why didn't they give China engineer the entire work to do?
That is a question that I can't answer. I appreciate giving some work to the locals, yes, but it should be done at a certain standard. But even the China Harbor leg, I have some issues with some of it too. I have issues with some of it. And some of the approach they are taking in some of the constructions, I question it. Some of the surfaces is the same kind of issue. So it's not that their side is okay. It's not. It's not. You understand me? There's some safety issues also. I see there was a pump house in the border Grandspen Albion area. And
I know that pump house.
They demolish it and put a drain pipe there. Since they touched that section of the road and touched in the Grandspen with some digging down some mall, you know what happened the next rainfall that happened after that? The whole of Grandspen Hill, and the entire Albion stretch right back to Yellow Bridge was flooded out. I mean, high water. I've never seen that in my 50-something years in this country. Never.
It's in heaven.
Never. So they have touched something in the environment that is having an adverse effect. And I think they need to relook at some of their testing and engineering. But you see, if you check the track record of the Chinese globally, everywhere they go, there is damage or adverse effect to the environment, even in their
let me say something to you, because we don't have enough time here. We only have this 12 something to 12 o'clock now.
Mhm.
We all know that when the Jamaican government, whether the PNP or the JLP, they go and sign deals, half of it may go up on a website, say, okay, they signed the deal for blah, blah, blah. But the other half don't go up to say, look here, we sell out the Jamaican people for $1 million head. That don't go up on the website.
No.
You see, if we in this country continue the way how we are continuing, then we'll never be a better nation. And we are calling for constitutional reform in this. We're calling for being a republic in this country. We better wake up in another country here. Sir Clark, you're 1 minute, you have to say something, sir. I have to wrap up now.
Yes, Jeffrey. I welcome this platform to, voice some of the concerns. There's a lot more. As I'm saying, the business community, the taxi bus industry is feeling it, and the residents are feeling it. And you know who I'm really concerned about? The returning residents or the elderly community. That does nuisance, and sometimes it's hard to get a taxi because they are few and far apart. And I hope we can do this another day where we could probably bring on some of the contractors and China Harbor themselves. I wrote a letter through the transportation groups here, and nobody responded to them. It went to China Harbor, local and Kingston. It went to NWA local and Kingston. It went to the Ministry of Transport. It went all over. It went to the parish council. Nobody responded. Not
because
one.
you know why they don't respond to neither me nor you? We don't have no MBE or JDE or Jackass behind we name. Anyway, Mr. Clark, thank you very much for coming on Mek Wi Talk, sir. I hope we can do this again.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You know something in this country? It's same way, It's same way. An elderly lady go down to the Ministry of Labor and they treat the woman as if she's nothing and call some mother who sits in the office as Ministry of Labor not doing anything about it. Why is it that the Ministry of Labor can't send out the tracking number to the people their phone? Why they have to go down to the head office in downtown Kingston, then walk up and down all over the place? If you go on money this and money that and west this and west that, look cheap and safe, and if you buy one thing a dirty girl. Why is it that this have to continue in this country?
Why are we in a sad state, Jeffrey? That's all I can say.
Very sad state, and this is where we have to wake up in Jamaica.
Yeah.
This is where I say so long from here, Sir Clark, because I see we are getting the wrap-up signal is now 12 o'clock in Kingston City, Jamaica. We're listening and watching from around the world. This is Mek Wi Talk on Roots 96.1 FM. I am Jeffery Tavares saying so long until you hear my voice again, where I think come next week, Tuesday, I'll be having former FBI agent, a Jamaican, Mr. Rattigan, will be coming on the platform here to speak about Jamaica's crime problem and other things. I am Jeffery Tavares, returning to the studios of Roots 96.1 FM. Thank you very much.
I have a dream that one day this nation will